All right, so power of resume number one. What's the main purpose? You have to consider that, everything that we do have a purpose. And when you write that resume, what's that purpose? It's a summary of your qualification, skills, and achievement. All right? A summary. So it means that it has to be short. Just a summary, just a highlight to showcase your talent, your qualification, and achievement. So you have to keep the best part that will mean something to the recruiter. So it's not about you. You don't write everything you have done. You just write the achievement, the qualification that will mean something to the recruiter. Next one, skills indicate your potential. Okay, so skills highlights your potential. Not all the skills, but the skills that you think, the potential that you want to showcase. Next one, it's the benefits, demonstrates your actual accomplishment. So you have to make sure that the message you put in would highlight on the benefit to demonstrate your accomplishment. All right? So those are the main purpose of a resume. It's easy to read this, to understand this, but to do them, it takes a different set of skills. So as a professional, you have to do your research. You have to carefully design your resume for each company. All right, for each company, not all company. You don't write one resume and send it out to maybe 5 different companies. Each company needs a tailor-made, individually designed resume. All right, I want you to consider this. This is the major focus of this training. In my class, in the resume class, I always focus on how you describe your achievement, your accomplishment. Most people, we focus on responsibility-oriented, and this is a bad idea. You do not want to write something like that. Please, when you attend this class, I know you want the best result, and you demand more because you are the talent that you think the future boss should hire. So don't waste time writing responsibility-oriented statement. Something would sound like this: responsible for selling products to customers at Royal Department Store. As a recruiter, okay, I know where you worked at. You worked at Royal Department Store. It could be a best department store in town, but what's your responsibility? You sell products to customer. If I'm hiring a customer service or sales representative, I wouldn't care if you have done that before. I mean, probably hundreds of people have done the same thing before. It doesn't make you qualify for the job. You have to write something that I call the achievement-oriented statement. Increase sales revenue by 30% in 3 months. Immediately, as a recruiter, what I see is what I care about the most. I care about profit. I care about whether or not when I bring you in, using my resources, using my training, I want to hire the best person that I can invest in for the future. And I want to hire a person who can perform. So this message, increase sales revenue by 30% in 3 months, clearly tell me that in very short period of time, you will have the ability to consistently bring me the money. All right, that's important. Okay, but you have to consider, this is just an example. It doesn't have to be this much, okay? But I just want to show you that from that to this, okay, for recruiter to see the message, you have to tell them specifically what you have done for your previous company and how you did it. All right. part of resume number 2, what format fits your need? So this is the key for today's class. We have to discover different formats, and then which one works best for your advantage. There are actually quite a lot of formats out there. And there are questions that a lot of people ask. And we're going to go through some of the questions that maybe you might ask previously, and I'm here to answer that. Let's talk about the fundamentals, the basics. So how to format a resume? I think this is the easiest part. So you have to have appropriate margin. Appropriate margin means that in the paper layout, you have to find the right space to put the text in. And really, like when you go online and download a template, 去下载一个范本来写的时候，那个 margin 是已经定好的。So appropriate margin means that each side is no less than 1.5 inch. So you have to leave space on the side. Don't fill up the whole page, okay? But select a professional readable font. So when you think about it, font, professional font, don't get creative. Don't get creative on like a cute font or anything. You have to select the font that's clear, readable. And number 3, make your font size 10 to 12. Of course, 12 is the best. Okay, so what I like to see is that font 12, that's clear, readable, all right, and with margin, so you don't cram the whole page with words. And then the last one is to feature section headers. Each format would have different headers. And I'll tell you what they are or the suggested headers should be. And use bullet points. The reason why we choose bullet point is easy to read. And each bullet point has to start with verb. Okay? There's just no other word that you should put at the beginning of a bullet point. Use verbs to start. What I mean is that bullet point 在开头的话用动词写是对读的人是最方便的，因为每一个 bullet point 都是动词的时候是最好去处理这些讯息的。Okay, so use bullet point and start bullet point with verbs, not just any verbs, action verbs, verbs that triggers emotion, verbs that triggers action. All right. So there are a lot of professional readable fonts, and here are just some of the examples. So Georgia is my favorite, but you can pick any of these 7 fonts that you wish to use. But please make sure that it's font 12 with one of the choice of font here. Okay, so size and the font. Make it clear to read. So question number 1. Okay, we have this FQA. FQA means frequent question answered. So number 1 is, can my resume take more than 1 page? My clear answer is, try not to. Okay, try not to. I don't want to read anything more than 1 page. But some people say, but I have so many things I want to share. I have so many things I want to tell the recruiter. But really, most recruiters want your entire resume to fit on 1 page, but a maximum of 2 pages is acceptable for those with extensive related work history. So, the key word is related. Even if you have a lot of work experience, and those experiences are not related to your job resume or interviews, then don't put them in there because it will mean nothing to the recruiter. All right, so the answer is try to keep it in 1 page. Okay, unless you have a lot of experiences relate to the job that you are looking for. Number 2, should my resume be graphically designed? You know, some people can't really help it. I want my resume to look pretty. Okay, so my answer is no. Only if your job requires creativity. So if you're applying for a job as a designer or some work along the line of creativities, you want to showcase your creative talents, then do it. If not, don't try it. Because graphically designed resume is difficult for software to scan. Okay, so because a lot of companies nowadays, especially a lot of foreign companies nowadays, they use software to scan your resume. If it's graphically designed, like it looks beautiful and pleasant to look at, but it's difficult for software to pick up important information. Next one, should I tailor my resume? Yes, please, that's a must. What that means is that each resume has to be designed for individual companies. So what works for one role may not work for another, so making alterations to your resume for a particular role can boost your chances of being considered for the job. So, when you think about it, when they're looking for maybe sales representative in XYZ company and sales representative in ABC company, you might be doing similar things, similar responsibilities, but because of company's culture, company's philosophy, and company's vision, and even the leadership style, they may be looking for different kind of professionals. So each resume should be designed for that specific company that you apply to. I think it's a professional courtesy. OK， 这是算是一个职业的一个礼貌。我们在写 resume 的时候，要照着这个公司的需求来制定一个 resume。All right. Question number 4. What should be included in my resume? This question, notice that I didn't put any answer here. It's because that this is the whole point of today's lesson. So by the end of today's lesson, you will see what you should put in your resume.